I work at a cafe in Melbourne. An American couple walked in last Thursday morning, looked at our menu board, and the woman said, "Do you guys accept real money or just Australian dollars?" I blinked. Australian dollars is real money. We're in Australia. She looked at me like I just told her the sky was purple. Right, but I mean, do you take American money? It's more stable. Her husband nodded. We usually just pay in USD when we travel. Most places are happy to take it. I explained that no, we couldn't accept US dollars. She pulled out her phone, Googled the exchange rate, gasped, and said, "That can't be right. Why would your money be worth more than ours?" They left without ordering. Posted a review saying we were anti-American for refusing US currency. That's when I realized this was going to be a long tourist season. Working in Australian hospitality, I've met thousands of Americans. Most are lovely, but there's a specific type who arrives expecting Australia to be America with funny accents. They're confident, they're certain, they're spectacularly wrong. Let me share some stories. The American at my mate's pub in Sydney ordered a pint of Budweiser. My mate told him we don't stock it. The guy was offended. Every bar stocks Budweiser. It's the most popular beer in the world. Not in Australia, mate. He looked around the pub like he was on a prank show. This is a Western country. You have to have American beer. My mate offered him a local lager. The American took one sip and said, "This tastes weird. Do you guys know how to brew beer here?" My mate, who's worked in pubs for 15 years, said, "We've been brewing beer since 1804. The American shook his head. That can't be right. America invented modern beer culture. He ordered a Coke instead. Left a 1-star review saying the pub served experimental beers that don't taste like real beer. An American woman came into our cafe. She ordered a venti iced coffee with 2 pumps of vanilla, extra ice, light cream. I said, "We have iced coffee. It comes with ice cream and milk." She looked confused. "No, I want it iced. Cold. With ice cubes." I explained that Australian iced coffee is cold, but it's made with ice cream, chocolate syrup, and milk. It's basically a dessert. She stared at me. "That's not iced coffee. That's a milkshake. It's what we call iced coffee here." She pulled out her phone, showed me a Starbucks menu, and said, "This is iced coffee. What you're describing is incorrect." I told her we could make her an iced latte instead, which is what she actually wanted. She refused. Said she wanted iced coffee, not some made-up Australian version. She stood there for 3 minutes explaining how iced coffee is made, using her phone as a visual aid. I finally made her an iced latte. Charged her for an iced latte. She took 1 sip and said, "See? I knew you could make real iced coffee." Left a review saying our menu was confusing, but the barista eventually figured it out. 2 American tourists came in during our morning rush. Ordered 2 cappuccinos. Standard order. 15 minutes later, the woman approached the counter. "Excuse me, where are our refills?" I was confused. "Your refills? We finished our coffees. We'd like refills." I explained that we don't do refills in Australia. Each coffee is individually made, costs $4.50, and there are no free refills. She looked genuinely shocked. "But we paid for coffee." "Yes. And you received coffee. Right, but in America, coffee comes with unlimited refills. That's how coffee works." Her partner chimed in. "We assumed it was the same here. We're happy to wait, but we need our refills." I explained again that we don't do refills. Coffee is made per order. If they wanted more coffee, they'd need to order more coffee. The woman asked to speak to the manager. My manager came out, repeated exactly what I'd said. The man said, "This feels like a scam. You charge $4.50 for coffee but don't include refills? That's more expensive than Starbucks." My manager explained that our coffee is made by trained baristas, not machines. We use high-quality beans. Each cup takes skill and time. The woman said, "I don't think you understand how the coffee industry works." She left a review calling us overpriced with terrible customer service policies. Said we were trying to rip off tourists by refusing refills. An American man ordered a flat white. I made it, served it. He looked at the cup. "This is tiny. It's a standard flat white. 180 milliliters." He looked betrayed. "In America, a small is 12 ounces. This is like a shot." I explained that Australian coffee is about quality, not quantity. The drinks are smaller but stronger. He wasn't having it. "I paid $5 for this. That's criminal." He demanded to speak to the owner. The owner came out, explained that Australian coffee culture values craftsmanship. The size is intentional. The American said, "I've been drinking coffee my whole life. I think I know what a proper serving size is." The owner suggested he order a large latte if he wanted more volume. He refused. Said he wanted a normal-sized flat white. When we explained that's not how sizes work here, he accused us of gatekeeping coffee culture. He bought a large latte. Complained it wasn't strong enough. Said Australian coffee was overrated and hipster nonsense. Posted a TripAdvisor review warning Americans that Australian cafes don't understand portion sizes. I work at a restaurant in Brisbane. An American family had dinner. The bill came to $180. They left $230 on the table and walked out. I ran after them. "Excuse me, you left too much money." The father looked proud. "That's your tip. You earned it." I explained that we don't tip in Australia. Our staff are paid proper wages. I was trying to return his $50. He refused. "Young lady, I know you're being humble, but you deserve this. Your service was excellent." I insisted. "We don't accept tips. It's not part of our culture." His wife got involved. "Honey, is this a legal thing? Are they not allowed to take tips?" The father looked concerned. "Is your boss taking your tips? Because that's illegal. We can report him." I explained, for the third time, that tipping isn't expected in Australia. Our minimum wage is $23.23 an hour. We're paid fairly. He didn't need to tip. He looked at his wife, then back at me. "But what if the service is exceptional? Then you can leave a small tip if you really want to. But it's not expected. And $50 is way too much." He folded his arms. "In America, 20 to 30% is standard for good service. I'm giving you 27%. That's appropriate." I gave up. Took the money. Split it with the kitchen staff. He left a review praising the food but noting that the staff seemed uncomfortable accepting tips, possibly due to management pressure. Encouraged future diners to tip generously to support the workers. An American couple had lunch at our cafe. Their bill was $47. They paid with a card, and when the machine prompted "add tip," they selected 20%. The payment went through. They sat there, staring at me. The woman said, "Aren't you going to thank us?" I said, "Thank you for your payment." She looked annoyed. We left a 20% tip. That's extremely generous, especially for lunch. I explained that the tip function on our machines is optional. Most Australians don't use it. We weren't expecting a tip. The man said, "Look, we understand you're trying to be polite, but we know how service industry works. You rely on tips." I explained that we really don't. Our wages are built into the prices. Tipping is a bonus, not a necessity. The woman looked suspicious. "If you don't rely on tips, why does your machine ask for one?" I told her it's a feature on the FPOS system, but it's rarely used. She didn't believe me. This is exactly what my cousin said about Europe. They claim they don't want tips, but they expect them. Her husband agreed. It's a cultural modesty thing. They want tips but won't ask for them directly. They left insisting that I deserved every cent. Posted a review encouraging Americans to always tip in Australia despite what the staff say. An American woman had breakfast at our restaurant. When the bill came, she wrote in service charge at the bottom and added 18%. I told her she didn't need to do that. The machine would process her card for the exact amount. She said, "I'm adding a tip for your service." I explained that we don't have a line for tips on our receipts because tipping isn't standard practice here. She looked at me like I was simple. "Sweetie, I've been to 47 countries. I know how tipping works. In service cultures, you always tip." I tried explaining Australian wage laws. She cut me off. "I understand you're trying to make me feel better about the cost, but I insist on tipping. You worked hard." I processed her card for the original amount. She noticed. "You didn't include my tip." I explained again that our system doesn't work that way. If she wanted to leave cash, she could, but we couldn't manually add it to the card payment. She accused me of refusing her tip. Said it was incredibly rude. Demanded to see the manager. The manager explained the same thing. She didn't believe him either. She left cash on the table and walked out, muttering about Australian pride getting in the way of good business practices. I work at a pharmacy in Sydney. An American woman came in with a prescription from her doctor back home. She handed it to me. "I need this filled." I looked at the prescription. It was written by an American doctor, for an American pharmacy, with American insurance code. I explained that we couldn't fill American prescriptions in Australia. She'd need to see an Australian doctor to get a local prescription. She looked confused. "But it's the same medication." I told her that yes, but Australian pharmacies operate under different regulations. We can't accept foreign prescriptions. She pulled out her phone and showed me her insurance card. "I have international coverage." I explained that it wasn't about insurance. It was about medical licensing and regulations. She needed to see a doctor here. She got frustrated. "This is ridiculous. In America, you can fill prescriptions anywhere." I told her that in America, yes. But this is Australia. She asked to speak to the pharmacist. The pharmacist repeated exactly what I'd said. She left, muttering about how Australian healthcare was unnecessarily complicated. Later called the pharmacy asking if we could just Google the prescription and figure it out. An American man came in asking for Tylenol. I showed him the paracetamol section. He looked at the boxes. "No, I need Tylenol, the pain reliever." I explained that Panadol and other brands here contain paracetamol, which is the same active ingredient as Tylenol. He shook his head. "That's not the same thing. Tylenol is acetaminophen." I told him that paracetamol and acetaminophen are two names for the same drug. Different countries use different names. He didn't believe me. "I've been taking Tylenol my whole life. I know what it is." I showed him the box. "Look at the active ingredient. Paracetamol 500 milligrams, same as Tylenol." He read it, then said, "But why would you call it something different?" I explained that Australia uses British pharmaceutical naming conventions. He bought it, but kept asking if I was absolutely sure it would work the same way. Left a review saying Australian pharmacies don't stock American medications. An American couple came in asking about prescription costs. They were shocked when I told them most prescriptions cost around $30 to $40 for general patients, or $7 with a concession card. The husband said, "That's it? What about insurance?" I explained that Australia has the pharmaceutical benefits scheme. The government subsidizes medication costs. His wife looked suspicious. "There has to be a catch. What's the deductible?" I told her there isn't one. "You pay the copay, that's it." She insisted there must be hidden fees. In America, My husband's insulin costs $300 a month even with insurance. I explained that in Australia, many life-saving medications are heavily subsidized. Some people pay as little as $7 per prescription. They didn't believe me, kept asking about the real cost. When I finally convinced them it was true, the husband said, "Well, that explains why you guys have higher taxes." An American teenager ordered a large Coke at our cinema. I handed him a 600 milliliters cup. He stared at it. "This is a large?" "Yep." He looked around. "Where are the actual large sizes?" I explained that in Australia, a large drink is 600 milliliters. "That's our largest size." He pulled out his phone, showed me a photo of an American large drink, and said, "This is a large. That thing is like a kid's size." I told him that Australian cup sizes are different. Smaller. What he'd consider a medium, we'd call large. He asked if we had American sizing. When I said no, he asked if we could just fill up a bigger cup. I explained we don't have bigger cups. 600 milliliters is as large as it gets. He looked personally offended. "How do you survive on these tiny drinks?" He bought 2. Left a review saying Australian, large drinks are false advertising. An American woman at McDonald's ordered a large fries. I gave her a large fries. She looked in the bag. "Where's the rest?" "That's all of it." She pulled out the fries. "This is a medium at best." I explained that Australian large fries are smaller than American large fries. She demanded to speak to a manager. The manager confirmed. She refused to believe it. "I've had large fries from McDonald's in 12 countries. They're always the same size." The manager explained that sizes vary by country. Australia uses smaller portions. She said, "McDonald's is an American company. They have standards." When we couldn't provide her with bigger fries, she accused us of skimping on portions to save money. She paid for 2 large fries. Complained they were still not enough. Said Australian McDonald's was barely recognizable as the real brand. An American man came into our bottle shop. Asked for a case of beer. I showed him our beer selection. He looked confused. "Where are the big cases?" I pointed to the 24-pack. "Right here." He shook his head. "No, like a real case. 30 beers. 40 beers." I explained that 24 is the standard case size in Australia. He looked disappointed. "How do you stock up for a party?" I suggested buying multiple cases. He said, "That's so inefficient. In America, you just buy a 40-pack and you're done." He bought 2 cases, muttering about how Australians must not party much if they only sell 24 packs. I work at a car rental agency in Melbourne. An American man picked up his car, listened to our briefing about driving on the left, nodded confidently, and said, "Got it. No problem." 20 minutes later, he called from the side of the road. "The turn signals don't work." I asked what was happening. He said every time he tried to signal, the windshield wipers turned on instead. I explained that in right-hand drive cars, the indicator stalk is on the right side of the steering wheel, not the left. He was hitting the wiper controls. He said, "That's bad design. Why would you switch them?" I told him it's not switched for us. This is how Australian cars are built. The steering wheel is on the right, so the controls are mirrored. He insisted it was confusing and dangerous. Asked if we had any normal cars. We didn't. He kept the car. Called 3 more times about the wipers. An American woman rented a car from us. Drove it for 2 days. Came back furious. "Why didn't you tell me Australians drive on the wrong side of the road?" I was confused. "We did. It's in the rental agreement. We explained it during pickup. There's a sticker on the dashboard." She said, "I thought you were joking." She'd been driving on the right side of the road for 2 days. Other drivers kept honking at her. She thought they were just rude. She demanded a refund because we didn't make it clear enough. An American family rented a car for a road trip. Returned it the next day. The father said, "We can't do it. It's too stressful." I asked what happened. He said every time they came to a roundabout, they went the wrong way. I explained that in Australia, you go clockwise around roundabouts because we drive on the left. He said, "But that's backwards." His wife added, "We almost crashed 3 times. It's not safe." They wanted to switch to a bus tour instead. Said driving in Australia was too different from America. An American family arrived at our Queensland resort. The mother saw a huntsman spider on the wall of their room and screamed. She demanded we move them to a safe room. I explained that huntsman spiders are harmless. They eat mosquitoes and other pests. We don't remove them. She was horrified. "That thing is the size of my hand. It's venomous." I assured her it wasn't. Huntsman spiders are not dangerous to humans. She didn't believe me. We did research. Australia has the deadliest spiders in the world. I explained that yes, Australia has some dangerous spiders, but huntsman spiders aren't one of them. They're everywhere. They're basically harmless. She pulled out her phone, read from an article about funnel web spiders, and said, "This says Australian spiders can kill you." I explained that funnel webs and huntsmans are completely different species. She was looking at a huntsman. She demanded proof. I pulled up a wildlife website. Showed her. She still wasn't convinced. "Why would you let deadly spiders just live in hotel rooms?" Her husband chimed in. "We paid good money for this accommodation. We shouldn't have to worry about dying in our sleep." We moved them to another room. They found a gecko. Demanded another room. We explained that geckos are also harmless. They eat insects. They're considered good luck. The mother said, "I don't care about luck. I care about safety." They requested a reptile-free guarantee. We couldn't provide one. They left a review saying our resort was infested with dangerous wildlife and not safe for American families. An American tourist at our Sydney tour asked if it was safe to walk around the city. I said yes, of course. Sydney's a major city. It's very safe. He looked skeptical. "What about the snakes?" I explained that you don't really encounter snakes in the city. They're in rural areas, national parks, bushland. He said, "But I read that Australia has the 10 most venomous snakes in the world." I confirmed that's true, but they're not roaming the streets of Sydney. You'd have to actively go looking for them in the wild. He asked about drop bears. I paused. Drop bears aren't real. That's a joke Australians tell tourists. He pulled out a printed article about drop bears. This says they're real. I explained that drop bears are a made-up creature. It's a prank. Australians convince tourists that koalas drop from trees and attack people. It's not true. He looked at his wife. "Do you think she's lying?" She shrugged. "Maybe she has to say that for legal reasons." They spent the entire tour looking up at trees. An American woman asked if she could pet a kangaroo at a wildlife park. The handler said yes, but be gentle. Kangaroos can get stressed. She started petting one. It hopped away. She looked offended. Why did it leave? The handler explained that kangaroos are wild animals. They're not like dogs. They don't necessarily enjoy being petted by strangers. She said, "But this is a petting zoo." The handler clarified that it's a wildlife sanctuary. Visitors can interact with the animals, but the animals aren't required to interact back. She tried again. The kangaroo hopped further away. She looked at the handler. "Is this one broken?" I served drinks at a beachside bar in Cairns. An American man ordered a beer. When I brought it to him, he looked at the ocean and said, "Do you guys close the beaches at night?" I said, "No, the beaches are open 24/7. He looked concerned. "What about the sharks?" I explained that shark attacks are extremely rare. Cairns has nets and drum lines. Most beaches have lifeguards during the day. He wasn't satisfied, but they could still swim in. I agreed. Sharks live in the ocean. Sometimes they come close to shore. But attacks are rare. He said, in America, we'd shut down a beach if there was even one shark sighting. I explained that in Australia, we accept sharks are part of the ocean ecosystem. We take precautions, but we don't close beaches every time a shark is spotted. He looked at his wife. Honey, maybe we should skip the swim. She agreed. They sat at the bar, staring at the water, convinced they'd just narrowly avoided death. Later, they asked if we had any indoor beaches. When I explained that's not a thing, they seemed disappointed. They left a review praising the bar but warning tourists that Australian beaches are unregulated and dangerous. Look, I love Americans. Most of them are curious, kind, and genuinely excited to experience Australia. But there's a specific type who arrives expecting the world to work exactly like home. They're convinced their way is the default, and anything different must be wrong. They're shocked by small coffee cups, offended by no free refills, and baffled that we don't tip. They think our large drinks are a scam, our wildlife is a death sentence, and our money isn't real. But here's the thing, confidence doesn't equal correctness. Just because you've done something one way your whole life doesn't mean it's the only way. Australia isn't broken, it's just different. And that's okay. Next time, I'll share the stories about Americans trying to understand Australian slang. Spoiler, they think arvo is a typo.